Okay, I have started the recording if in case someone requires. Yeah, there might be issues related to the power cuts and other stuff. In such cases, it might be a problem. So I have started the recording. What you all need to do is you need to just write very simple overview. The question is social media is one of most popular platform in that many people use. That's obvious. And Mr. ABC states the following statements. Mr. ABC there are 5 statements given. Social media can be used as a CRM tool or a ERP or transaction processing system or an MIA system or an e-commerce platform. So these kinds of statements are given. 5 statements are given. What you have to do, you have to select one statement, statement 1, statement 2, 3, or any other thing that you like. You can select task 4. Social media platform can be used as a MIS system, and you need to argue. If you want to add more content, you can select more than one topic, but recommend is only one single topic. You may select more than one, that's okay, but expectation is one topic. So you should write select one or two articles, research papers, journals, and something that related to your argument. That means if you are selecting question number 5 or that statement number 5, social media can be used as an e-commerce platform. So you should find some references for that to confirm whether it can behave as an e-commerce platform or not. Then on top of these findings, you should be write an article, a clear article, very detailed article. If you probably 1 or 2 articles might be insufficient, but expectation is just bare minimum 1 or 2 articles, but you may be able to find more than 10 to 15 articles and come up with an argument, a proper argument. The expectation of this question is the creativity, how much creatively that you are going to argue, whether your arguments are valid or not, and your arguments are having valid background or not. As an example, I have gone through some of your videos and the MIS project that we have done, the decision intelligent decision support system. So some of students do not provide sufficient references, so they state I assume it, and it's just an hypothetical approach. But once it comes to academics, you should practice this adding sufficient valid references. You can't state something without any research. As an example, I'm stating tomorrow there might be a war tomorrow in Sri Lanka. Tomorrow there might be a war, and I'm state this statement. Tomorrow there might be a war. So it seems there might be possibility, but no reference, no any sufficient evidences that I have to give. It's just something known as a hypothetical approach, or it's just a hypothesis. It's just something that you assume. It can be right or wrong, I don't know. Your job is, your main objective of this work is confirm your hypothesis. You have confirmed, all right, social media platform can use as an e-commerce platform. Now you should find references for that. This Mr. ABC, this professor this one, and doctor this one, and this research paper provides this information. Such kind of information that you have to get into the context and confirm your argument. Sometimes you can argue, no, social media platforms can't be used on e-commerce platforms. That's okay. If it is your argument is not, then what you need to do, you need to confirm with the references. After confirming the references, you can have a questionnaire or interview or some other document related stuff, or a data analysis and other relevant stuff, and do the required confirmation. Do you got the story? Any questions? It's an individual, yes. It says overdue by 1 day. Don't worry about that. It has sufficient time. Until the end of the semester, you can do it. All right. Until the end of the semester, you can do it. I have removed the due date. Yes. So until the end of the semester, you can do it, but you can start it now. I will wait. Today, I can feel that there are only very less students. It's just not sure. It's just 18. Yeah, 1,000 words is more than enough. 500 to 1,000 words, more than enough. And what happens to the others? I can see only 18 students. What's the reason behind that? Could you please pass the message others to join to the lecture? Why do we have any special assessment to be completed today itself, or any submission to be completed within next couple of minutes or hours? Could you please pass the message the others to join earliest as possible? Then I can start the lecture. It's just 18 students today. Until the others joining, please make sure to write the document. All right, I think that's all the students are joining for today. Um, Somehow that's fine. We'll do the session today, that the lecture session. There's a question for the ERP's exam. First time I got 620 issued to the exam several times due to my laptop. So I couldn't schedule time. Is it okay to submit the result sheet? Sure. Regarding the ERP certification, I think that might be really valuable for you, and I really motivate you to complete the certification course, not just for your the marks, but for your life. Most of the cases, you can add it to your CV at the end of your degree. There should be something to add to your CV. That's something that most of us, we are facing something. We don't have anything to add. We have completed just set of assessment. That's it. So to avoid that, I have added that. Please make sure to do it. So that's valuable for you. Come, we'll start the today discussion, information systems development. And what about the next week? Do you have when the semester is ending, do we have another week or not? As per the previous schedule, today is the last day. Do you have, I think if I'm not mistaken, it's extended for next week. Any idea? Do I need to check with the department? All right, I'll check. Any reps that you are going to know, or any other subjects that you are having next week? Do you have lectures in next week or not? Simply yes or no? Do you have lectures in next week or not? Yes or no? All right. No idea. Will do. So information systems development. Now, once it comes to information system management, you should have some understanding related to this information systems development. I'm not going to discuss in detail of this software engineering concepts, software development concepts, and so on and so forth. But I'm mostly focusing on the most valuable information that related to the management information systems. And to manage an information systems, it should be developed at the beginning. So it's our responsibility to have some brief understanding about this, what is an information system and how it was developed by someone else, because our responsibility is to manage that one. But in any case, if you got an opportunity to the development work also, that might be really valuable for you. As an example, now we have completed entire cycle of this information system development and management to last couple of weeks. We have followed step-by-step process. We have followed all of the things. I'll show you at the last few moments what we have done and how valuable it for your life. And even now you can apply. If you have completed almost all the in-class activities and other stuff, I'm pretty sure you can apply for MIS executives jobs. Currently there are a lot. So in Sri Lanka, I don't think so, but in other countries there are a lot of MIS executive opportunities, and MIS developers are there. They're required, especially when it comes to ERP developers. So you can show off your skills and get some sort of more experience related to the Microsoft ERP, and you can apply for a job. Sometimes there might be a remote job opportunities also available under this context. So give a try. That's my ultimate objective. Now, today what we are going to do, we are getting some understanding about this information systems development. Once it comes to software development or information systems development, we'll take, those are like a little bit interchangeable, but there are some modifications or some differences are there. But in most of the cases, what we develop is a software. Though it's an information system, it's a one single software, a big software at the end of the day. Now, these are the business environment or the business requirement. Now, you should be understand the business environment. We have done very detailed activity last week, how to understand the approach for a market, the business market. To understand the business requirement, we should go through different strategies, marketing strategies, in system development strategies, and so on and so forth. It's not something easy. And the other hand, the software development. As an example, now you have developed an e-commerce application, I have given this one at the beginning. What I have given an activity you to develop a web application or a website using a CMS, content management system. If I'm not mistaken, few students developed, and one student submitted, but no content available. I'm not sure why. For some reason, it's just submitted the code. There's no any code, and there was one student completed the entire project. Very nice. Appreciated your effort, and you might get a good result even. So that's another toy application, a toy selling website. Simply, it's a implementation. It's a toy selling website. Now, last week we have done very comprehensive understanding about the business environment that we are tackling. Now, if someone is going to teach the entire story, it's not something easy. That's why I have given one big activity divided into different components, and I have given. So I missed something. I'll share one Google sheet. Please ask from your team leads to compile everything into one single document, and I expect you to I expect from the team leads to complete that part. So you just want to copy and paste the component that you have developed, and what that focuses on the business requirement, understanding the global day, because we are not trying to just sell in Sri Lanka. We are trying to get international exports. I have given 3 different cultures and 3 different countries to understand how they are, what are the possible approaches that we can go for understand the business. So this is something on the one hand, it's not under my scope, and the other hand, I can't teach it the entire story. That's why I have given one activity to you to understand the business environment. So now you know how the toys requirement and global, if we are taking 3 different countries, how to tackle them, what are the tactics that we can go. But it's not something easy, because these are just understanding about this environment. Now you know the business environment in Japan, you know the business environment in UK. Likewise, you know the different countries. Now you can apply for whatever the country that you are trying to sell something. Now this is the product that you have developed. Now what you need to do, you need to modify your software according to these business requirements. But you can have different mutual agreements and franchising and a lot of things you can do. Now you know about these things well. All you need to do is you need to convert this one to here. Now that's the story. That's the activity that we have done. But once it comes to software development, that's also the same thing. They are getting, or requirements are gathering based on the client. Different clients are there. Once they got this requirement, they are implementing. As an example, now you have developed a website. If you can find a possible seller in Japan, you can collect the requirements. You can have a call, you can have questionnaires, you can have one-to-one interviews, you can have discussions with the discussion groups, joint application development kind of group. Now, lot of mechanisms available under this scope, under this software development scope. Now, all you need to do is the third part. You need to contact a person in another country and perform the requirement analysis, the understanding the business requirement from their end. Most of the cases, we have gone through the document analysis. We have gone through the documents available, currently available documents. Now you know about in and out all of these documents. The rest is modify your website according to the business requirement. Got the point? Now we have the software, we have understanding about the environment before going to the business. All right, That also okay. The third part is getting the real business into the world. Now, almost you are a good person, you are very strong if you have followed each and every step, and now you are good in the place to go to business. You can start with toys. If you don't like to go to toys, you can go for any other thing that you like to sell, even cinnamon or any other thing. Flowers you can sell. Think Kaproka, eBay, what they are doing. They are doing the same thing. They are earning a lot. So you can create some products in your place and you can host your website. Now you know how to host a website and create everything. You host it your own very website and you are a business owner now. You are a CEO. You are an entrepreneur. Very good. Congratulations. So you can go a big path now. So I think I have enabled all of these end-to-end things for you. You can go through. But today I'm going to more detailed or more focus on these requirements and how the management tactics might be applied for managing these information systems. We'll see. Under the software development, it's known as different names like application development, software solutions development, software building, whatever the things. There are many different names. Software development may be used to refer the activity of computer programming, which is process of writing, maintaining the source code. Now, this is the usual situation, the software development. There are software engineers and there are people who are developing softwares for their job. Software engineers are there, application developers are there, mobile application developers are there, and different names are there. Very fancy names are there, like full stack developers, backend developers, Java developers, C# developers, or whatever. But whatever the development is focused on computer programming. So basically what happens, there's a specific source code. Based on that code, people are hosting an application or put into the real world. Now, if I ask the question like this, if I ask a question like this, what is the language that you have used for your application development? Anyone? Have you gone through the code? Any idea? No. All right. Later on, you may check it. It's PHP and it's quite easy. But broader sense, it includes all that involved between the conception of desired software to the final development deployment of the software, ideally in planned and structured process. Now, once it comes to development, it's not something easy. It requires a lot of effort and it requires a lot of work, lot of resources required, and more things required. That's why this very comprehensive activity is known as very comprehensive activity. Now, software can be developed for variety of purposes. There are different purposes available: package software or bespoke software, and many things. Somehow, uh, the software development starts with identifying a problem in the real world. Now, the problem that we could try to tackle is how to develop a website or a web application to sell toys. To sell the toys. It's not something selling to business to customer. Our focus was business to business. Our focus was how to start our business to be connected with some another business. That's why we have last week struggled for a big document. What are the approaches that we can go for? What are the financial aspects? Sorry, what are the marketing tactics that we can do? What are the long-term tactics that we can go? What is the culture of the country? Because we should know this culture and everything before going to use this software development. How they behave, what are the colors that they like, what are the colors they don't like, even that kind of detailed things. Somehow Everything starts with a problem. There is a specific problem to solve. We understood there's a problem for us. For your case, if you don't like for toy selling, you might have something to sell. It might be something around you. You can sell flower pots, anything. I'm not emphasizing to do uh, flowering and other stuff. What I'm speaking is doing the management of the system. You are the person who is going to manage the system. You don't want to go for farming or any other thing. You don't misunderstand that. What I'm speaking in here. If not, you might think, oh, this guy is asking us to do gardening and other stuff. I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing on you can have another set of people around you to gardening and other stuff. They can grow the stuff. You can do the business. You are the owner of that business. You are the CEO. You are the person who is doing all these maintaining. Now you know the story. You know how to develop an application. You know how to get the requirements by perform some sort of document reading. The last point is having connected with the real customer and start with the requirements gathering from that end. That's the thing that I'm going to focus today. So any software can be considered as a solution of to a real world problem. So software solution development and solution providers. The need for better quality control of software development process has given the rise of discipline of software engineering. So that's the reality. It aims to apply systematic approach embodied in the engineering paradigm to process of software development. We'll see what are these things quicker. These are several. There are several different approaches for software development, like building a house. Some take more structured engineering-based approach to develop business solutions, whereas others may take more incremental approach where software evolves as it is developed phase by phase. But most methodologies share same combination of following stages of software development. Now, if you could not understand, now you will understand the story. These are the stages. Now, I will go a little bit detailed discussion here. In any given case, in any given software development activity, you may start from anywhere, obviously that's the situation. But in most of the cases, we should provide a market research and we should start with identifying the problem. We should identify the problem. What is the actual problem? And who are my customers? Who are my customers? What is their what is their culture, their behavior, the geographical location, and the currency, and different legal aspects. What are the things that we can't export? What are the things that we can't do these kinds of things? What are the legal aspects? And what is the most appropriate marketing strategy that we can go for this country? So those are the marketing research. Not only that, once it comes to more specific, you can find a software guy that who really wants to sell your product. Now we can gather the requirement from that person. We can ask whether this button is okay, or this kind of function is okay. As an example, if you are trying to start with the login system, so you're asking the system to log at the beginning, then do the purchases. But if you think if your customer is telling no, first of all, we'll let the person to do whatever the stuff that they want to. Then later on, we'll try to do like this. We'll start the stuff that we are trying to work on, like without login. First, we'll ask to add the card and do everything. And if that person is trying to purchase it, at that time, we'll ask to log in. That might be a possible question, possible requirement from the customer. Okay, so this is the market research, identifying the problem. So For the identifying the problem, you can do document analysis that we have done last week. That's the most important. By referring the documents, you may find a lot of background related to the question that we are trying to solve. Or what is the requirement? You can go through the current softwares available, similar systems available, and different types of approaches that they got, the success and failure, like case studies. Lot of things that you can do under this case. You can identify the most specific problem. Now, if you take the situation that we took, we just develop an application to sell the toys. And last week, we understood we are not only the sellers. We are not only the sellers who are going to sell. And we learned something by learning these competitors. Now, if you are trying to sell tea, if you are trying to sell cinnamon or any other thing, even a software product, a service, an advertising company or anything, so you should do the same extract, same similar path. That's it. Once you perform this market research, the next step is gathering requirements for the purpose of the business solution. Now, next, what we are trying to do, we are trying to analyze, or we are trying to gather the requirements. Requirements gathering is not something easy, because if we are trying to develop an application for a specific customer, that's okay. That's not something hard. Most of the cases we can understand. We can show a prototype that we have developed, or we can have a meeting. Likewise, we can. So if you are trying to develop a software for a customer, a specific customer, it's not a big problem. You may able to, at least up to some extent, you may able to do a good solution. But if it is a situation like, as an example, think Microsoft or Google. We all are clients. We all are using Microsoft Office. We all are using Google Chrome. Do they contact us time to time and having meetings with us? How about what do you think? What is the requirement that you want to do? Shall we develop this kind of thing? Do you happy? Any of the person, marketing guy contacted you, or software development engineering contacted you from Google, Facebook, Twitter, Yahoo, Firefox, any other software that you are currently using, SPSS? Do they contacted you? Anyone in the class? No, they haven't contacted, but they gathered our information in different manner. That's the difference in this case that I want to emphasize. If it is requirement gathering with a specific client, we can have interviews, we can have one-to-one chat, we can have joint meeting discussions, joint application development meetings. Those kinds of things we can do nowadays at all. But once it comes to mass application development, right, like all right, somehow here if it is a like specific application that we are trying to develop, or if any in terms that we are speaking, it's just custom software or a bespoke, that's not a big problem. So we can cater for a specific customer. But if it is a generic purpose or general application, as an example, the products that we are performing any customization, how to tackle Microsoft Word, Google, they have collected our information in different manner. How they have performing a set of questionnaires, just simple questionnaires. They are not adding 10,000 lines of, 1,000 questions. They just ask 2 or 3 questions. Sometimes just rate us, that's it. Whether you are happy with this service or not, that's it. That's all they're asking. Now, recently I got a message from this Windows machine. Are you happy with this clock application? That's all they're asking. I just want to say yes or no. Based on that review, you should get the requirements. This is the problematic situation. This is quite easy for bespoke application development or a specific customized software development. It's not something hard. We have a specific client and we are trying to solve their business problem. That's all. But this scope is quite hard. We want to find a client, we want to find a specific sponsor for us. So that kind of a thing is quite hard. But if you are trying to go for this kind of a solution, it might be much easier, much easier, and you can spread very rapidly. As an example, Facebook. Did anyone comes to you and starts to ask you to, could you please install Facebook and in your laptop or sorry, your mobile phone and enjoy? Anyone from the Facebook contacted you? Send an email. Could you please contact? Could you please install this Facebook software? This is marvelous software. Do you send it? Do anyone? Or Google Chrome? No, they don't do. Instead of that, they speak for the general. They are doing workshops in generally. They are performing this for the mass audience. They are sending emails for mass audience, newsletters. If someone requires, then they are sending it. That's the reality. Now, this is the story that you should tackle. You should understand. Get the requirements, collect the requirements from unknown end users. Non-end users, it's not something hard. Unknown end users, you should track it properly because you are trying to sell a product for unknown end user. You don't know who is going to use at all. That's the story. Somehow, if you collect the requirements from this kind of a software or this kind of a software, now we are trying to analyze the problem. Now we are trying to analyze what is the problem that we have. As an example, it might be a situation of selling my toys. That's the problem. But for that, there are a lot of softwares available or web applications available here and there. Next, there might be got a lot of competitors are there. Yeah, well, that's okay. And geographically, they have distributed and they have different business agreements too. All right, well, good. Now, our problem is how to sell our product, which can compete all of these stories. It's not something easy. You should understand the culture, legal aspects, how the behavior or the cultural effects of these customers. Everything you should know in and out. These are the analyzing of a problem. If it is analyzing a problem of a bespoke software or a specific customized software, it's not a big problem because it's quite easy. It's quite easy. You know, your client is specifically giving, we want to develop simply a login system. The requirements are very clear, very detailed. And in any case, if something gone wrong, we can contact the client back and ask, is this? And even we can show a prototype and show to the clients, okay, is that so? But once it comes to this kind of off-the-shelf softwares, it's not something easy like that because no one is going to or willing to have these kinds of things. But there are strategies, tactics available to track these kinds of things, right? We'll come those kinds of things later on. And the next, having a plan to software development based on the solution. Now we are going to coding. Then we are testing the software. Now these, if you call this kind of these three phases, the rest of the three phases are much easier. These are much easier. These are not something depend on the client. And once it comes to even in the deployment too. Then the last part, this is another big or a hesitate or a big problem for us because we have developed the software and there are different attackers are there and different business requirements are getting sending by the customers. As an example, you are sending an improvement survey. Then they are sending, why don't we have this kind of thing? Why don't we have this kind of a customization? So you are getting a lot of requirements. You should maintain it. And we have to check whether the servers are up and running or whether it's hosted in cloud environment, if everything is okay. Is there any malfunctioning? All the business logics are working perfectly and all the economical things like financial aspects and everything is working perfectly. So you should understand all of these. Now, I just emphasize you to the most critical situation. This is not something hard. This is the hardest point. Now your eyes should be open for this story. This is the place that you should track. That's why I have opened you to entire discussion for this story. All right. So I got it. These common stages of software development. Any questions up to now? This is not something that if I'm speaking this one into the software engineering community, the story is totally different. I just want to emphasize you in the aspects of management plus information systems, how the information can be worked on. For a software engineer, it's totally different story. For a software engineer, it's not totally different. Some what we call some modifications are there. They are focusing on direct customers and direct information and development. More specifically, they are focusing on these three and this one also. If I'm speaking to the DevOps, I'm only focusing on this part. So this is like business plus subject. That's why I have more focus on these three, because most of the cases you might fit for these three, these kind of things, not for the rest. These are much technical work. These are much technical work. These are much non-technical work. These are not too much of coding and other stuff involved. Even I haven't given a coding exercise for you. But if you like, you can develop a complete e-commerce application or is it all. But if you are not much technically solid, you can use a CMS and configure it and host it. That's the easiest solution. Any questions? Anything needs to discuss further? There are different approaches to software development. Carries out these stages in different orders or devote many less time in different stages. The level of detail of documentation produced at the stage of software development also vary. And these stages may also carried out a sequential and repeatable. So different management approaches are there once it comes to software managing. Actually, there's no specific management approach for information systems, but we can use the same concepts that we are using in software engineering, like waterfall methods and agile methods. Have you learned about these waterfall and agile methods in anywhere, any subject? Have you learned these waterfall and other methods in anywhere? Yes. All right. We'll go to then. Now, structured versus extreme. More extreme approaches usually involve less time spent on planning and documentation, more time spent on coding and development of automated tests. Promoting continuous testing throughout development in life cycle, as well as having a working or a bug-free product at all times. Now, that's more extreme program, extreme approaches. Most of the cases, let's time spend on planning and documentation. This is the important story. It minimizes the documenting time and planning time, but it spends more time on coding and development tasks. Whereas the structured or waterfall methods, as a majority of the races, develop detailed plan of software before the implementation. So by comparing to these three, this one mostly focus on less time spent for the planning. Here, much time spent for planning. Avoid significant design changes and recoding in later stages of software development lifecycle. Here, at the beginning, at the waterfall structure or the word structured method, we are mainly focusing on getting the well idea about where we are going to tackle and what is the requirement. Here, we have no idea at all for the most of the part at the end of the day, but we have some idea about one component. I will give an example to understand about this. You may think like this. Now we are going from Moratuwa to Jaffna. The story is Moratuwa to Jaffna. Think a student who is having good experience and well expertise, who is traveling from Moratuwa to Jaffna every weekend, traveling Friday Moratuwa to Jaffna, Sunday Jaffna to Moratuwa. This is the route. Now this guy has well idea how very good experience about the story. All right. But is this applicable for all the students? Now we have 150 students, about 150 students in the class. Do we have all of the students having this experience? We don't have. It might be less than 5%. It's a big problem now. It's a big problem, isn't it? It's a big problem. Now, we can't find this kind of expertise in here. We can't find expertise to get the help. So we have some technical help for this case. What's the technical help? The technical help is simply, you may use Google Maps. Google Maps, it's a technical help. You can switch on your mobile and you can ask, where's Jaffna? Well, that's good. You got a well understanding about the route and from here to here and here to here, and finally you goes to Jaffna. Yeah. Very good approach. Unfortunately, for some reason, there's a problem in this area. So you can't travel in this site, this road. There's a blocker. Now, again, you need to travel another road and comes to this place. Got it? If we plan, think now the situation. Now we are getting into the critical situation. At the beginning, we are planning from Moratuwa to Jaffna. I don't know, 284 kilometers. 284 kilometers are there. Then we have calculated the fuel consumption. We just required 30 liters. We'll assume. I don't know the calculations and other stuff. I just give it some random numbers. So as the manager, you have calculated, all right, we want only 30 liters from Moratuwa to Jaffna because of this route. Because Google Maps shows it's 284 kilometers. Now we are the manager. You assumed, all right, I have calculated this thing and this is the requirement for me. Unfortunately, for some reason, there's a blocker in here. So I can't travel this road. So there's additional 100 kilometers in here. Additional 100 kilometers. I haven't calculated this one in here, this 30 kilometers. I haven't thought about it. Not only this, there might be many possibilities that less or much. We can't give perfect assumption. We can't plan well simply. We can't plan 100%. Especially when it comes to software development environment, we are unable to plan a software 100%. We can plan up to 60 to 80 around of planning based on the requirements, if the requirements are much clear. But there are modifications. Hence, this kind of a structured approach are not much stronger for nowadays, and especially once it comes to software development in nowadays. It's not much good. This kind of approach is much better because we are more spending more time for the work that we are actually doing. As an example, in this case, we are not planning at all. We just roughly calculate how many liters we required. Instead of waiting at the last moment, what we are doing, we are traveling from Moratuwa to some place, I don't know. We are traveling to Colombo, and at that time we are taking another again a full, full tank. Again from Colombo to, I don't know the road, right? For some place, I don't know. Again full tank. And at that time, if there's a roadblock and no worries at all, I'll go some another path and I'll go full tank again. Then go to the Jaffna. This is the normal situation that you have this experience, isn't it? You have this experience. You are, whenever you are having a trip, you are with your parents or friends, what the driver or vehicle owner is doing, we have to full our tank for now. They don't wait until the last moment. That's the agility. That's the agility. They want to change. They want to, if there's something uncertain thing happens, they want to track it properly. If we plan 100% percentage, there's a risk. There's a risk. That means rather than having a lot of planning, we can have partially plan. 60% around we have some plan. It's not, I'm not speaking about no planning at all. No, I'm not speaking about not planning at all. I'm speaking about there's a plan, but I'm not spending a lot of time for planning. I'm planning very roughly. I'm just assuming, all right, it might get around 7 hours for travel and it's just 284 kilometers. It might be required 30 kilometers, but no worries at all. But after 100 kilometers, I'm pump again to full. And time to time, I'm doing the same thing. So that's the approach that we have to go in nowadays because, it's a agile environment. Now, best approach. The best approach will often depend on the type of the problem. It's very critical situation. We can't state this is the best approach that we can go through once it comes to information systems development. Because if we have good understanding, very good understanding, 100% sure, at least 95% accuracy we have. Think a situation, a person who is traveling from Kandy to Moratuwa every week, that student has good understanding, nearly good approach, nearly good value that they can give. There might be 3 hours or 5 hours or something. That's the difference. So if the problem is well understood and solution can be effectively planned out, we can go through waterfall method. It's a best approach to work. If we don't know the situation, if you have no understanding, then this extreme approach is much better than the waterfall. Waterfall is better if the situation is well understood. This one is good when the situation is not well understood. Not well understood means I don't know, not something I don't know, not something that you are not stating I don't know. You have some blurred idea, some understanding. Any questions? Anything needs to discuss? Not at all. Anything related to the stuff that we have discussed up to now? You don't have any questions? I do have a question to share with you. Let me share the question with you. And yeah, all right, I have shared the question in the chat. You may take around 5 minutes and quickly answer it. Please submit your answers. I just got only 7. Others, could you please submit it quickly? I got 15 responses, but well, most of the answers are not strong enough. Sorry. Let me check. About these the answers. What is the difference between waterfall and extreme approach in information systems development? Now, question is quite easy. It's just asking what's the difference between waterfall and extreme approaches, or structural and unstructural approaches. That's all. Hmm, it repeats the same life cycle till enough results and create rather than having lot of separate stages. I could not able to understand this kind of answer. And waterfall method is a sequential and extreme is iterative. Not well actually. It repeats the same life cycle till enough product is made rather than having lot of sequential stages. The next distinction between extreme programming and waterfall, actually it loosely structured the agile team, self-managed like another agile team. This one might be a little bit okay, acceptable. Extreme approach has lot of features that distinguish it from waterfall approach. Well, I don't know what are the answers given in here. Difference is extreme team is actually agile team without strict structure like other agile teams. It's self-managing. Hmm. I don't get much of answers up to some extent. The main difference is waterfall is linear system for working, requires the team to complete each project phase before moving on next one. While extreme programming is a software development methodology intended to improve software quality and responsiveness in changing the customer requirements. So this is one of good answer. It's acceptable. So this kind of a mark answer might get around 5 to 6 marks. 5 to 6 marks. All right. There are detailed answers like this. A traditional model used in software development life cycle to design a system with a linear and sequential approach. I think this is copy pasted because the model progress methodologically from one phase to the next downward direction. It's known as waterfall method. There's no any overlapping between phases. Each must be finished before the next one begins. The extreme method, every operation proceeds in a straight line and produce intended outcome. The extreme technique, on the other hand, does not operate continuously but rather modified project activity as proceeds, ultimately producing an intended outcome. So this is one of another very good answer. This kind of answer will get 8 marks, but I think you should be academically valid answer. This answer, I'm assuming this answer is not copy pasted from somewhere else. I assume it, and if you have copy pasted, there's no point at all. Okay, so I have given good answers and bad answers. I think you've got some understanding what kind of a answer should be answered this kind of a question. All right. Now, we'll go through the customer's point of view, the software development or information systems development from the customer's point of view, what they want, what they actually required, and what are the things that they are focusing on. Ultimately, they want a quality product, isn't it? Now, you are using one of software because it solves your problems. It helps you to solve the problems. It's quite easy to use and no crashes, no any all of a sudden things happening here and there. These kinds of things are helping for you to keep the software and it satisfies your problems. Think Microsoft Word, they're satisfying you. They are giving the help to you. That's why you are installed this Microsoft Word. It's much easy. It's very convenient for you. Why you are using Facebook? It makes your life easier. It makes what are the expectations are fulfilled, and no crashes all of the side. It moves very smoother manner. That's the story. So in that case, the most important thing is you should understand whatever the software product, if it is developed by another set of people, that means they are focusing on a quality product. Your customers are focusing on quality products. Got the point? Now, that's the story of this quality process and the quality products. So you should understand, if the quality process is well, then the quality product will be automatically there. If the product is quality, then your customers are getting higher and higher. If there are a low number of customers, means the quality of the product is quite low. That's the usual situation. Now, once it comes to different methods are there, sorry, I have added traditional, but once it comes to software development, there are different approaches we can find, such as waterfall, spiral, prototype, and stuff. These are traditional types. These development types are known as traditional types. But here, uh, but in here you might see agile. Agile is not a traditional approach. That I have removed this approach in here from here. So agile is not something that a traditional approach. It's much complicated approach that currently we can see. So what happens in here? So what happens in here? These approaches are focusing on specific output or an outcome. They have different native attributes. I will keep these three for you. I will keep waterfall, spiral, and prototype methods for you. So these are self-study activities you should learn from your end. I'm not going to discuss these three because for the most part, waterfall and spiral actually nowadays very rare, and there are minimum people are using. Prototyping they are using, but it has some another aspects to discuss too. What I'm focusing on this agile and how these information systems development focus on this agile development. Have you learned about this agile methodology in anywhere under this course, or anywhere under this course, any subject? Yes or no? Have you learned or not? Yes or no, simply. Come on, guys. No. All right. Thank you. Then I will go through this agile a little bit, and we'll understand the concept. Before moving to agile techniques, I want to emphasize one important thing. Under this management or software management or information systems management, what is that? We have a concept called iron triangle. This is much related to the project management. You might learn this under this project management. What happens in here? There are three corners: scope, schedule, and the budget or the cost. These are major concerns. I will give an example to you to understand what is this. I want to develop a software. For Junior City. I want to develop software for university. Now, this is the scope that I have defined. Under this scope, I can find different applications are there. As an example, I should be able to submit assessments. There should be a place to add the videos and other stuff. There should be a place to add the learning materials and so on and so forth. And student attendance, your attendance and everything should be in here. Got it? Now, this is the scope. Now you are the manager of the information systems company or the software development company. You are the head of, or you are the person who is handling all of these things. The scope is defined by University of Morocco. Well, good, thank you. Now, the question, when you want, how earlier you want, simply schedule. When you want this application. Now, as an example, if I'm giving an assessment for you, I have defining the scope to you. You should write 1,000 words. Most of the cases I'm keeping it open because some students writing more than 1,000. If I stick for 1,000, some students stick for that. That's why I keep most of the time it's open. And I'm just verbally, I'm just informing you too. But officially, you may able to go for even 10,000 nowadays at all, if I'm not restricted. Here, the scope is defined. Then I'm giving a specific date. This is the last date for the submission, end of the semester. That's the last date. After that, there's no point at all. This is the schedule. Even in once it comes to software development, this schedule is very important. The schedule is very important. By having a proper schedule, you know when the software will be completed. As an example, the software for university students management or university application is not something easy. It has a lot of, it should be, there should be a lot of functionalities like students management, lecturers management, tutorials management, other administrative work, lot of things. It's not something easy, so it's a big deal. Now what you can do now, you may be able to decide when you want the software. As an example, we'll assume today is August 1st, right? August 1st, and I want to complete this students management component on November 1st, and December 1st I want to have complete the lecturer management component. Likewise, we should define what is the schedule, how often, or what are the deliverables that you are going to deliver. As an example, login system, assignment submission system. Likewise, some important components or something that you can decide. What is the schedule when you are going to deliver within this month 15th, or there's a specific date. This is schedule. And you might asking for some for there's some effort for this. For that, you are asking, I want $2,000. I want to do this one, or a big amount. Right? I want 100,000 Sri Lankan rupees, something. Likewise, you can define a budget. Now, this kind of a thing, having a scope and having a specific schedule and having a specific budget, is the mainly focus on this iron triangle. Why it's known as iron triangle? What's the reason behind that? Let me give an example to you. Think a situation. Now all of a sudden, now you are the project manager. I'm the university coordinator for this mobile app, this web application. And I'm just asking from you, hey guys, currently you have 3 modules, which is student management, lecturer management, and administration. I want to add another module for the financial management too. Now what I have given, I have added an additional scope for this project. I have expanded this scope. Now the scope is a little bit up. At that time, in the initial time, this wasn't in here. This financial component wasn't in there, the system. It wasn't proposed. Now, after a while, like just after 2 weeks of time, I'm asking from you to, could you please do this one? If you are the manager, what you do? Do you accept the risk or keep quiet? Come on, guys, quickly. What you do? You accept this or reject this? Or anything that you want to state? Shall I convert it into a question and I'll ask? I think that works. I'm just asking, if you are the project manager, what you do for this request? Do you agree with this request or reject? If you agree, any conditions? No. Explain. Explain. All right. Let me share the quick question with you quickly. All right, I have shared the question in the chat. Quickly answer for my question. Don't take more than 2 minutes. Just tell yes or no. If it is yes, why? If it is no, why? Or what are the conditions or any other thing that you are giving to your customer? What is your behavior if you are the project manager? Quickly. Don't take more than 2 minutes. I haven't got any answer. Any reason behind that? You got my question? Is I'm audible? Is I'm audible, guys? All right, all right, all right. I'm audible. I have shared the question in the chat. What's your answer? Now, one of requirement is gone up. The scope is got up. Additional component that I have added. Now you are the project manager. Think, always think, critically think, and think and give an answer. If you are the now, there's an additional requirement comes into the story, which was center defined at the beginning. Now the requirement is getting a little bit upper. Now, what you should do, you should keep quiet and develop this component, or you are telling no, I can't develop this kind of a thing. Or what you do? If you are developing, what are the conditions that you are having with the client? I got one response. Thank you. So we'll continue the session. Then there's two answers. All right. One answer is people have been undertaking projects since earliest days, organized human activity. The large complex. What is this? The large complex projects also have been asked for some time. Pyramids are Great Wall of China. I'm not sure whether the first question is what is the meaning of this first question. And I will reject this request. I don't agree with this because it's not under our scope. So one student is going to reject this request. He's telling no, I can't develop because we haven't agreed for that. And there's another guy in here is telling I agree under certain conditions. Now this student is giving some conditions. Okay, I will agree with this, but there are certain conditions. What are the conditions? Request more time. I can't do it now. I want more time. I want to extend this time. And there's another condition. I want extra payment for the adding work. All right, I will do this one, but I want more money too. Then if the client agreed, I'll proceed. If the client is telling, all right, I can extend the time and I can extend the budget also. All right, no worries at all. I can proceed. All right, so this is kind of a good answer. All right, some other answers are, I don't think so much valuable. All right, that answer is good, quite good. Now, what happens in here? Now, what happens in here? The scope is getting a little bit higher. The scope is higher. All right, this makes up. Now the client is asking some additional work. The scope is going up. Now, as the manager, what you should do, you have to work with a tight schedule even now. Now, by adding another component, what you should do? I can't do it now, so I want to extend the schedule. But your client is stated, sorry, I can't extend the schedule at all. My client, your client is telling, no, I can't change the schedule. That is okay. If you can extend the schedule, no worries at all. Now you're the project manager. Again, your client is telling, no, I want at that time. Can or can't, because this is 10 billion worth project. It's a 10 billion worth project. Think a situation, a big amount. It's just $2,000 even. It's a big amount, we'll assume. Do you agree with this statement now? Scope is enhanced. I can't extend this schedule at all. That's all. What is your answer? I will add the question again for this same form. Could you please, or else I will copy this one quickly. Give me a second. I will copy this one and I will create another one. In class activity 3. All right. You got the question, right? Right. My question is, I'm the client who is giving this opportunity for you. Now I'm stating, very important thing for you. What is that? I'm stating I can't do any modification for the schedule. I want to enhance this scope too. Now what you do? Now you are the project manager. I will share the questionnaire in the chat. All right, I have shared it. Quickly start the answering. All right, I got one response. It states like this. All right. If it is the time, sorry, if the answer is since the schedule is fixed, so there's no any option to do. So I'll reject that one. And let me check there's another answer. The answer is I'm not sure what is that answer. I can't understand actually. Allowing requests to come through multiple uncoordinated channels creates the risk of missed duplicate or even. I'm not sure what is that answer. I feel it's just set of words. All right, there's another answer. It's stating, all right, I can do it. Okay, good. Now this student is getting accepting the risk. All right. That student is asking a lot of money. Budget needs to increase. That's accepted. Very good. So your answer is very good. Only one student given that answer. So very good. Now, if the schedule also tight, what you need to do, you need to add some additional resources to your project. As an example, you can temporarily hire freelancers. You can temporarily hire like super people from the industry from different places. You can outsource to different companies. No worries at all. You can give the same time. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. The scope is enhanced, obviously, that's fine. Then the schedule is tied, yes, as it is, you can't change it. But the only problem is you need to enhance the cost. If your client is stating, no, I can't enhance the cost, then there's the problem with this iron triangle or the iron rods. So these are iron, so you can't change it. If someone is going up, then others schedule will go up, budget will go up. If this one also is fixed, you can't change it, then budget will higher and higher. For some reason, if your client is state, sorry, I can't allocate more budget, what you can do, you can state, all right, then you have to extend the timeline. That's it. That's the only solution that we can do. If you want to get the solution or the output from the same set of people, then we require more and more time. That's the only option. If not, we can't perform this operation. Finally, one important thing I want to emphasize. What is that important thing? The important thing is the quality factor. Whenever you are developing something, you have asked for some amount, you have decided the schedule, and you have defined a scope. The expectation is the quality. The meets or exceed the client's expectation is known as quality, simply. Now, the importance of this discussion is having understanding of this quality factor. If there's no quality, though we have provided a lot of cost, even we have given a lot of time, and it's very small scope, but very low quality product, that makes a confirmation there is nothing valuable for the project. That's the ultimate case. So what you should understand these kinds of things here and there. If the quality is not in the product, though we have allocated a lot, this is not the output, this is not the expectation. The quality is the highest important factor. If your product, the final project, your final output, if there's no any valuable or quality output, it's just something that you wrote. As an example, you for your assessment, one student, it's just the plagiarism is 68%, and I don't know, he or she got 0 marks. Very low quality product. I'm pretty sure that student will get a fail or a C plus or something. I'm pretty sure. And there are students who has done very high quality product. High quality video is very nice, and the documentation is in a publishable manner. Very good analysis and everything. So that's the difference in this case. The quality of the product. So what you should understand, the scope, budget, and the schedule are the key factors for this quality. In any case, if we do not have anything satisfied, that means our quality will be gone wrong or the quality will be reduced. As an example, the scope is get a little bit higher and budget is as it is, budget is not going to change anything, but schedule is going to stay as it is. That means our product, the quality will be definitely low, very low product, because we do something, that's not the expectation. That's not the expectation. That could be the final output that can happen for us. Got it? All right. Then those are the stories that I want to discuss with you today regarding this information systems development. There are methodologies available like waterfall, scrum, and waterfall, um, spiral, and agile concepts too. If time permits, we'll do another session and we'll get some understanding. If not, you may do your activities. All the assessments, self-study assessments can be complete on or before the last date of the semester. So make sure to submit as much as, because the competition is quite high this time. So you don't, if you think your work is insufficient, I would highly encourage you to get full marks, because you know what, we don't know what happens in the final exam. If it is a quite hard exam, then you will get very low marks and you will get a very low result. That's why I'm always motivating. Do these in-class activities and all the activities that we can get the marks for the CA. Expectation is to get all of you get 50 out of 50. Then most of you in a safe stage, because you will get a pass at least. Any questions? Yeah, all the in-class activities are till end of the semester. So I have given sufficient time for you to do all of these in-class activities. Do more and more in-class activities, then it might be really valuable for you. In any case, if you got low marks, that might be help to get a good result. Any other questions? All right, then. If you don't have any questions, see you, bye-bye. You may contact me in any time, send an email or telegram or any other method, no worries at all. Something that I can do, I'll definitely do for you. Okay then. See you, bye. We'll meet again.